How's it going, you lot? What an absolutely cracking day it is. My watch has fallen off my wrist and everything's perfect. So let's have a little talk, a little chat about what you should do when you first get your Nitro car. When you first take it out the box, what should you do? Now maybe you got one for Christmas, because we're in March now. The season is really starting to take off. People are out there, they're buying their Nitro cars. People are out there getting their Nitro cars ready to go for the summer. Some people don't run them all year round. Personally, I do run them all year round. I don't like to get them dirty, but I do run them all year round. People that say you can't run them in cold weather are stupid, because you can. Anyway, maybe you got one for Christmas and you've been waiting for the weather to start getting warmer. It's been 21 degrees here in the part of England where I am this week, and well, you know, that's stupidly far too hot for March, but it's happened, so we just have to deal with it, and which is perfect weather for Nitro. So maybe some of you are thinking about getting your cars out. So you got yourself a brand new Nitro car and it's in the box still. This one isn't new, but it's in the box, so we'll use it as a demonstration. This particular one is a Kyosho MP9, which one of, not the best, but one of the best Nitro buggies that you can buy. Now, in my opinion, that is. So you open up the box, and obviously you need to, these are the other wheels, we'll just get them out and put them over there for now. When you get it out the box, there's not really a lot you need to do other than make sure all of the nuts and bolts are tight. So let me relocate you ever so slightly so you can see what's going on, and then we'll have a little look and go through it all. Right, let's try. Usually I put you lot over that side, but let's put you there and see if you can see any better. So you get your transmitter out, obviously, out the box. You need to make sure that that's all fine and dandy. So we'll put that over there like that, and then we get the rest of it out. Now all you need to do really, if I can get that there like that, you've got your, oh look, there's my receipt when I bought this. Wow, that's amazing. Blimey, when did I buy this? When did I buy this? Where's the date? £75.42 VAT, I'll tell you that. Bloody tax. There's no date. Oh, there is. 2019. Bloody, the 13th of the 6th, 2019 I bought this car. Unbelievable. Anyway, you've got your instruction manual, which I haven't opened, for your car. So you can read that if you want to, but you don't have to do that. We're talking about things that really you should do when you get a brand spanking new Nitro car. So you've got your transmitter, we'll have a look through that in a little while. So when you've got your car, you've got your buggy out, and you put it on the bench. So what you need to do really, turn it upside down and get your Allen drivers and your screwdrivers and just check all the screws on the bottom. Check all the little screws, the Allen bolts. The ones that hold the engine in are particularly important, because if they come loose, you'll be in a bit of a pickle. Make sure that just make sure all the screws are tight, basically. Don't over tighten them, because they are, most of the time, metal screws going into plastic. And all you'll do is you'll end up stripping the threads in the plastic. There are some that go metal screws into metal, whether it be steel screw into aluminium or steel into steel. It could be anything, but just don't go mad. It ain't a real car, it's just a toy. Even if you get a hobby grade one, proper pure hobbyists, if you call one of these a toy, they'll get quite annoyed, which is why I do it on purpose. But they are a toy, that's what they are. It's a toy. You buy this for fun, and in my opinion, anything that you buy to use for fun is effectively a toy. So you've checked all your nuts and bolts and screws underneath. So now you can take off the shell. When you buy it brand spanking new, the shell might not be on it from, you know, out of the box. Sometimes they don't put the shells on it when they're in the box. Sometimes they do. sometimes they come with the shell in a bit of polythene resting on top. So either way, get the shell off and have a proper look to make sure everything is nice and tight, because although they are, if you get a ready to run, I'm talking about ready to run nitro cars obviously, although that they are built in a factory, everybody makes mistakes. But the thing is that people don't realise a lot of the time is, although they are built in a factory, they're not really ready to run in the way of being set up. A lot of the time, nearly all the time, they need some adjustment because they don't set the brakes up, they don't set the throttle up, and you know, well that's it, you know, they don't set everything up. Sometimes the steering servo's put on a bit cockeyed, you know, so the steering's not straight and you have to adjust a few things like that. Depends how picky and how finicky you are. You can adjust them to start with, or you can run it for a little bit and then adjust them later on. But make sure that all of your engine bolts on the top, because there's another 4 on the top, make sure they're nice and tight. And that's about it. Make sure the air filter is on and it's tight, not going to fall off, and things like that. Once you've had a little bit of a once over, to be honest, a little bit of a hypocrite because I never do any of that, but it's not about me, it's about doing what I say, not as I do, because at the end of the day I have a bit of an idea of what I'm doing, whereas I'm aiming this anyway at people who don't. That's the whole point. So right, we've done that. Now we need to put a battery in here. Have we got a battery in here? Well, we've got a battery in here already, so I don't need to put one in. But what you need to do, you need to put a battery in your car. Now, whichever way you choose to do it, you can go and buy yourself one of these. Some people these days like to run these Life E packs, which you can do, but these particular ones don't fit in most nitro car battery boxes. They're a bit big, whereas these hump packs are designed to fit in a battery box, an ordinary standard battery box. There are some cars out there that they don't fit in, but they're just the silly ones and we just put them in the bin and we just don't buy those cars. Every other car, these fit in perfectly. Actually, the battery box is here. That's the radio box, that's the battery box. So yeah, and if you buy one with the 2 wires on, you can charge it without taking it out, and I've got a little charging wire here, so you can do that. So once you put your battery in, then you need to turn on your transmitter and bloody blimey, it's not very happy, this one. Obviously you've got to put batteries in your transmitter, and then you can make sure. Right, for some reason we've gone bloody backwards. Why have we gone backwards? How do I turn that? Well, you need to make sure that it's facing the right way. And for some reason at the moment my one, when I turn right it turns left, and when I turn left it turns right. So I need to change that around. The throttle's working and the brakes are working. So that is all we need to know. You need to make sure that when you pull the throttle opens, and when you do the brakes go on. Let's have a look to see what that looks like. So when we pull on the throttle should be that's go. So that's open throttle, that is brakes. All right, so when we do that, we need to make sure that opens up the throttle. That's the throttle opening, and when we do the brakes come on. You can adjust the end stops, or the what do they call it? The other name. Some people call it an end stop. Other people call it blooming. Gone out my head. Can't think what it's called. I'm sure it'll come to me probably later on when I'm laying in bed and I go, oh yeah, that's what it's bloody called, you cock. But anyway, so make sure that that's working. But other than that, we're not going to go too deep into anything else, because you don't really need to do anything else for the very thirst. Unless you're thirsty, that is. There's nothing really else you need to do for the very first things that you do when you open up your buggy. So now we can do some simple things, like we can put some nitro in the tank, and I'm going to say warm it up, because it'll be brand spanking new, I should imagine. If it is brand spanking new, the engine needs to be ran in. So you do need to warm your engine up before you fire it up. Now, this is a bit of a controversial thing. Now, I spent years teaching people that you don't need to warm up your nitro engine before you start it, because the fact of the matter is you don't most of the time. In really cold weather you do, but most of the time it will start and run perfectly fine without being preheated. But as I've got a bit older, I've decided that I'm going to tell everyone to warm it up first, because a lot of the problem and the reason that people give up and speak down about nitro cars is because they can't get them to start. Yeah? Well, and if they can get them to start, they can't get them to run very well, but a lot of people can't actually get their cars to start. Now, obviously that's a problem. That's when people start to spread rumours and spread things. Oh, nitro's no good, it never starts. It's not the fact. The fact is, you don't know how to start it. Now, if you warm it up first, regardless of whether it's new or old, if you warm it up first, it'll start a hell of a lot easier because it's effectively already warm. It is already warm. So you can do that by using a heat gun like this. You can get all different types of heat guns. You can get Amazon ones if you like Amazon. I mean, I don't use Amazon. I come away from Amazon years ago because they're a bit of a scam, but you can get all different types of heat gun. This is the one that I've had for a while, and it's a Ryobi one obviously, and it's good because it uses the same batteries as all my other tools. That's the only reason that I bought it, but it is good. It gets lovely and hot, and it heats up these engines perfectly. The other thing that you can do is, if I can find it, it should be in there somewhere, you can get, there we go, one of these. Now this is an engine heater, and what you do is you get a LiPo battery, or they also come with a little clip, a little plug that goes on the end of there, and there's crocodile clips on it. Now what do you do with them? You can put it on a 12-volt battery. So these run on 12 volts. It needs 12 volts in order to work. So if you're going to do that, it needs to be a 3S LiPo, 11.1 volts, but it goes up higher than that when it's charged. I don't know why they say that. Really, they should call them 15-volt batteries, but they're not. They're 11.1. So the good thing about these engine heaters are, if you've gone to a place in your actual car, you can use your actual car battery to operate your engine heater. Yeah, so that's a good thing. But anyway, you can buy these little engine heaters. They like that. They wrap around. They've got a little heating element in there. This is probably the 28th millionth one that I've ever had, because I do break them quite often. They wear out. Their materials usually splits around the edges, and then you end up with just an element and wears away. Anyway, that goes around there like that, and a little switch on there, thermal cut off or whatever you want to call it, a timer thing for 10 minutes. It will get up to temperature, it will run for 10 minutes, and you know, you can do that, or you can even do both, you know, if you really want to. And they've got a little hole there so you can put your glow starter in the middle. Warm your engine up lovely and toasty. Don't worry about temperatures. So many people worry about temperatures. Yeah, they'd be warming it up with a thermometer, religiously watching the thermometer. Just a complete waste of time. Don't worry about it. Just warm it up. If you touch it with your hand and you go, oh, that's hot, it's fine. Don't worry. All right. Now, I will quickly touch on the fact that temperatures are important with engines, because I know I'm going to get some people complain that I've taught the wrong thing. Now, when it comes to the engine running for the first time, it is important that it is up to a running temperature. Now, a running temperature, an operating temperature for most engines, and Nitro particularly, is around 90 degrees centigrade. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit. I don't use Fahrenheit. 90 degrees centigrade. 120 being the don't go any higher than that. 120 degrees. Now, around about 90 to 100 is considered a good temperature. There will be people that say different, there'll be this and that, and the fact of the matter is, there is more than one way to skin a cat. It's as simple as that, but as long as it doesn't run colder than 90 degrees for a while, you'll be fine. There's such a thing, I don't want to go too deep into it for beginners because this video is aimed at beginners, but there's such a thing as a cold seize, and if an engine runs too cold, the fire, is on the top of the piston. That's where the explosion, the combustion, all that fire is happening on the top of the piston. That will get hot, and the piston will expand more than the bore, or the cylinder, or the liner, or the sleeve, or whatever you choose to call it. That'll expand more than the liner. The piston will expand more than the liner, and obviously if the piston's too big, it's going to get wedged in that liner, and that's what happens. It's called a cold seize. It can happen on any engine. I was risking it, a little bit of a story, on my van, my real van. The thermostat was stuck open, and it was overcooling as you were going down the road, so it didn't actually get to an operating temperature. It was stone cold the whole time you were driving. Now that can result in a cold seize for the reasons I've just said. It can happen on any engine. Those of you that live in Canada and places like that, when it gets really cold, in Alaska, you put bits of cardboard, and I think you can buy proper things that go over the front grills of your pickup trucks and your cars, can't you? So that your radiator doesn't get too cold, because otherwise your engine will be overcooled, won't it? And it'll freeze up and your engine will run too cold. Bit of an off-topic kind of thing there, but I do that sometimes. I go a bit of a ramble. But anyway, we've warmed up our engine now. So in this particular video, I don't want to frustrate you, but I'm not going to go any further into starting the car up. A couple of reasons. One, it's quite late at night here when I'm filming this, and most people, everyone in my house is asleep. Well, they're in bed at least. But I'm going to split it up into a couple of videos because I want to make them bite-sized, for want of a better phrase, for those of you that are watching this that don't know what you're talking about. So, a bit of a recap. You've got your car, you've got it out the box. Checked all your nuts and bolts. I forgot to mention, check your wheel nuts, make sure they're tight. They're something that often aren't tight from the factory. These are made in factories around the world. Doesn't really matter where they're made. China, Thailand, England, America, doesn't matter. Factory production lines, specifically for radio controlled cars, the quality control isn't perfect. Alright, so there will be some nuts and bolts that are loose. I mean, I've had new cars in the past where there's been quite a few stripped nuts and bolts. Completely stripped, where they've done them up far too tight and just stripped all the threads and then put them down the production line anyway. So just check everything like that, bit of a recap, make sure your air filter is on, and get your engine ready to be warmed up and heated. Put your nitro in the tank, and I would put your battery in and check all that kind of stuff. Depends who you are and how you are. You may want to spend a bit of time doing that. Me, I never have. I'd love to say that I'm some kind of perfectionist and I do everything perfectly, but that's far from the truth. I certainly don't. When if I ever get a brand new car, I get it out the box, I don't check a single thing. I literally put fuel in it and fire it up. Okay? It's as simple as that. It's just what I do. It's just, I know I shouldn't do that, but I do. Yeah? Some of you will want to get it out the box, you want to look at it, you want to look over it and do things the right way, which is what I've just explained you should do. Check all the nuts and bolts. The next video will go over starting it up for the very first time. You've got it out of the box and you're going to start it up. Alright? So if you want to see that, think about subscribing to this channel and sticking around, because I do probably more for beginners than I do other stuff. I do aim stuff at beginners in Nitro, and I'm trying to get it taught in schools as well, bit of an update on how that's going coming up soon. So think about sticking around. I appreciate you all being here. Don't take other people for granted and treat people nicely. And I'll tell you what, I'm actually more excited about you lot with your first Nitro car than you are, probably. I'm over the moon for you. Please leave a comment. Have you just bought your first Nitro car? Or have you just bought a new Nitro car after some time away from Nitro cars? I'd love to know all about it. Nitro's really kicking off again. I know certain shops are running out of stock and they're having to order more stock because everybody's buying Nitro cars again, and it's bloody brilliant. I'll see you later. Take care. All the best. Look at that. An absolute beast.